Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Speci here. Bit of an update video for you. Probably a little bit overdue. Been doing lots of thinking over the last few months, and it's time to sort of make some decisions about what the future holds for me and my channel. So TLDR, am I quitting Gwent? I'm not quitting Gwent. I have been taking a break, and there's going to be other projects moving forward that I'm going to be starting to explore. But first of all, a couple of announcements to make. The first one is twitch.tv/Specimen. My Twitch channel, if you don't already follow me there, I've now got a streaming schedule. 8 AM starts every morning UK time. So 8 AM every single day, 7 days a week. Not putting a time limit on it. Sometimes it might be 10 hours, sometimes it might be free. Obviously, if I'm going to miss a stream, you'll know ahead of time as well, because I'm still going to probably take a few days off every so often. But every single day I do stream anyway. It's time for a schedule. So that's the first one. Link in the description if you don't already follow me. Now, up next, a second YouTube channel is starting, and this is going to link in a lot with Am I Quitting Gwent? I'm not going to be quitting Gwent. I'm going to be continuing to post Gwent content on this channel. This is going to be a Gwent channel predominantly, but I do want to be uploading other content, and I'm sort of just restricting myself with this Gwent channel where, you know, you guys are here, a lot of you for Gwent. Of course, not everyone is, but I also appreciate it. I don't want to spam your sub boxes with other stuff if I'm continuing to upload Gwent, because I do plan on continuing to upload Gwent for the foreseeable future. I absolutely love this game. Played it for 4.5 years, but obviously at some point I do need to have a bit of diversity in my life and also start to expand onto other projects, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But to begin with, I'm going to be uploading lots of Storybook Brawl content because I've of course been really enjoying that game. I'd love to try and cast that game at some point. That'd be great. I'm going to be playing in some of the competitive tournaments coming up next month that I've qualified for. Hopefully anyway, I should be. So that's pretty exciting. I'm going to be posting Storybook Brawl content, and I'm just really excited for a new challenge of trying to conquer a new game. Obviously with Gwent, it just sort of happened by accident. I went from just doing it as a hobby to it being my full-time job. And I don't want to just stagnate. I don't want to just settle. I don't want to settle for second best and just sort of be happy, content. I want to keep pushing forwards, improving my content, getting a bigger audience, all those sorts of things. And inevitably at some point, if I want to expand and make this my career long term, with a family, with a house, you know, look after my dad, all those sorts of things, you know, at some point I do need to start expanding, and I think the time is right for me to begin doing that. I just think I've lacked motivation with Gwent as well. Again, we're going to sort of get onto that in a little bit, but I've sort of done everything I want to do in Gwent, and that's not to say that I plan on quitting Gwent. That's just more to say that I had a load of goals at the start of the year, and I've achieved all of those goals, or I'm still working towards achieving those, and I can put a ton of effort in to continue to grow my channel, but I'm just not that motivated to do it at this time. And yeah, so we'll talk about that more. But the second channel, please do subscribe. I would appreciate it. I'm still going to be uploading other non-Gwent content to my main channel. This is not just a Gwent channel. Of course, it is predominantly, but if I'm playing a new game, I think there's some cool content. If it's like a real bit of real life content, if I think it's high quality content that the majority of my audience will enjoy, I'm going to upload it here. The second channel is just if I get hooked on a game, whether it be FIFA, Storybook Brawl, New World. If I'm going to be posting a lot of content, that's sort of going to be my place to do it. And who knows, I wouldn't be that surprised if a third channel follows soon later on in the year. So that's exciting. Obviously, let's talk about Gwent then. Where am I at with Gwent? Well, I had a ton of goals at the start of the year when I went full-time. I was teaching full-time and just thought I'd give this a shot. I had a nice audience to sort of work with, and it allowed me to commit to it. I've been living at home for the last, well, couple years since I finished uni. Obviously, I was working full-time as a teacher, and money, I've got some saved up. It's been cushy, it's been cool. I do make, you know, enough money for sure as a Gwent streamer, but I've been looking at flats, I've been looking at moving out, and that's where I'm sort of just starting to get a little bit more anxious about my money situation and all these sorts of things. And the thing is with Gwent and me, it was never about the money. It never was. I never really wanted it to be, and I think that's a big part of where my problems lie, right? I was uploading Gwent YouTube videos every day because I bloody love doing it. I love the grind of trying to improve my YouTube channel, get bigger numbers, all those sorts of things that, you know, you just want to do as a content creator. But at some point it went from being fun and being, you know, I was motivated by just wanting to be the best, to it went from I'm just going to upload a video because it's going to get views and it's going to, you know, make me a little bit of change, right? At some point I just sort of lost that motivation to really push on as a Gwent streamer. If you look back 2 months ago, you can sort of see the time it was. I was getting like 15, 16,000 views on some of my videos, and that's great. And I would still love to bring that back. But obviously the game as well hasn't been the most enjoyable. I just took some time out to reflect and think, am I really happy doing what I'm doing right now? The answer was no, I'm not, right? I took a week off. I couldn't wait to get back streaming. And then I started up Gwen and I thought, damn, this is just something not quite right here. Why have I, you know, put my career on pause if I'm not even happy doing what I'm currently doing? So I'm very much appreciate, I'm super lucky to be in the position I'm in. But at some point, it's gone from being my hobby to being my job, and I don't like that, right? And like I've now accepted that, but now I've accepted that I need to do still what makes me happy, right? I want to wake up in the morning and be buzzing to stream, and a lot of the time that is going to be playing Gwen. Do not get me wrong, I love this game with all my heart. It's my favorite game of all time. Pretty much if you look at like the games I've played since I built my PC a year and a half ago just to play Gwen, I've pretty much only played Gwen. I've dabbled maybe in Among Us, I've dabbled in a couple of other things, but really it's Gwen. I was streaming Gwen, I would finish my stream and I would socialize with some friends playing Gwen, because of course it's been locked down a lot of the time I've been streaming, and I've just burnt myself out to a very, very high degree. And of course, the state of the game as it stands, I'm sure a lot of you can agree, it's not the best it's been. If you look back a couple months ago, the game was in a really great spot, and obviously it's been a little bit rocky. I'm sure that we can all agree on that. So yeah, lots of things going on there with the state of the game, tied in with my motivation to grow and stream. And yeah, a new challenge is needed, and for me that's starting to expand into other content. It's going to begin with Storybook Brawl is my target to begin with. It just makes sense. I'm playing it, I'm enjoying it, it's new, I'm excited to play. I think a big thing for me as well is every single game I'm playing, I'm learning, and that's what really, really hooked me on Gwen. I looked at a game of Gwen and I played, and I thought, man, I could have done this better. There were so many decisions I had to make. I got to a point in my Gwen gameplay where I got pretty good, and then I just lost motivation to improve, because I was never going to be one of the best in the world. I made 5, I think, or 4 top 64 qualifiers in a row, and at some point I just didn't really want to grind the ladder the whole season, because I was playing the game too bloody much. I was streaming it at the start of the month. I was making like really fun decks for YouTube. By the end of the month I was grinding the ladder, and at some point it's just gotten a little bit too much for me. I've lost motivation, right? For me, every day last year I was waking up excited to play Gwen, and that's just not been the case recently. So I've taken a break, and I'm in the middle of my break. I still play occasionally. I casted some Gwent just today, and it was bloody brilliant. I loved it. I will still watch every Gwent event, and let's say I was randomly in 5 years' time to be, you know, one of the biggest Twitch streamers in the world, which is not going to happen, but, you know, I can do my best. I would still bloody play Gwent. I'd be like, guys, look at this game. It's sick. You've got to try it, right? Look at the art. Look at the music. All this sort of stuff. Look at the community. It's brilliant. So yeah, look, I'm not quitting Gwen, absolutely not. I'm still going to be posting content on my YouTube channel. When the next expansion's out, I'm sure that I'm going to really enjoy it and get my teeth stuck in and be motivated to play. And for me, this just seems like the perfect time to take a break and start beginning to expand towards other content, because this has been something I've been considering for a very long time. It's not like I've suddenly just decided to do this because I'm not enjoying the game. This is something that I've been planning on doing, and now just seems like it's the right time. I found a new game I'm enjoying. There's also FIFA and New World coming out, as well as the new Call of Duty, which I plan on playing on stream. So I'm just moving in that sort of direction. I'm still going to stream Gwen, but I have to prioritize my happiness. And, you know, obviously as well, money is unfortunately now coming into these things, which I wish it wasn't, but that's just the way of the world, right? I did put my teaching career on hold to do this, so I need to make sure I'm treating this as a business, which I haven't always done. It's been more of a hobby for me. But yeah, that's that spiel. I don't really know what else to cover. I guess I could talk about the state of Gwent at the moment, exactly why I'm not super motivated. I think one thing I touched on was all the goals I set myself at the start of the year, I've pretty much achieved. One of them was to grow my Twitch channel. I've done very well on Twitch from the start of the year. And I mean, even looking back, last March, you know, I basically started from scratch. I had maybe 1,000 followers on Twitch, but I'd barely streamed in a very long time. Built my PC, and throughout the year, while working as a teacher, a lot of the time from home, I was able to grow my channel to a point where by the end of the year, I was able to do it full time. So that was really, really quick acceleration. Obviously, the Gwent community does have a ceiling. And because my growth was so quick last year, at some point that growth is of course going to slow down. And as much effort as I can possibly put in, there's only so many results I can get out of it, because ultimately there's only a certain amount of people that are after Gwent content, after that are in the community, right? And that's a great thing, because it's great to grow as a streamer. It's a very close-knit community. I'm friends with many, many people in the community, and it's the best community in the world, in my opinion. So that's been great. But then obviously at some point, you know, I begin to approach the ceiling. It becomes very, very difficult to surpass that. You look at someone like Spyro and Shinmiri. They've been streaming Gwent consistently for many years. I actually started streaming Gwent, believe it or not, before both of them. Shinmiri, I don't think by much, but you know, it was just as a hobby, and I would disappear for months on end, whereas I've only really been doing it full time since January. You could argue maybe March last year as well, despite having a break around September time when I was in a classroom full time. So it's very, very difficult for me to now I've reached a certain point to actually break through that barrier and surpass those guys, because they're so consistent, they're so good at what they do. So I do feel like even though my Twitch growth was still growing, it just wasn't growing at the rate I wanted it to and sort of came to expect, which is maybe, you know, I'm privileged to have that, but that's just the reality, right? The numbers just weren't motivating me as much as they were. So that's one thing on Twitch. In terms of YouTube, quite similar in that I worked really hard on my content last year. I was really, really proud of it. I loved doing it. But then at some point, it went from putting videos out to make great content to putting videos out to just, you know, keep the channel going. And that's not great, right? Like, it's fine to do, but the content suffered. I mean, I look at some of the videos I've put out in the last few weeks, and there's no way on earth that I would be putting these videos out like 6 months ago, right? So, you know, having a break for me has been really, really refreshing. I actually went away on a week on holiday, and that was sort of like the big moment for me where I was like, yeah, okay, I think it's time for me to just peel it back. I was looking at Twitch every day. I was seeing, right, who's live on Twitch? How many views have they got? What time could I stream at? Should I stream now? No one's on. Can I slot into this time? How many viewers has this person got? Are they surpassing me? All these sorts of things. I was just obsessed with it, which is great because that's kind of, you know, how you grow and all those sorts of things. But it just became quite unhealthy, right? It became quite unhealthy. I had a week away and I went from one extreme to the other where I just didn't want to play the game, right? So that's definitely an important part to touch on, because of course my enjoyment for the game is absolutely quintessential, fundamental to my enjoyment of the content I make. If I'm not enjoying the game that I'm playing, I'm not going to enjoy the content I'm making about the game. And that also means the content's worse. It also means my streams are less exciting. So having just had a week away when I was in Wales with my family, I came back and I thought something has to probably change. I kept plugging away, I kept playing Gwen, just not as much as I used to. And I've not really made an update video until just now. And that's because I've been thinking about, you know, what I want to do. And then Storybook Brawl came along, gave it a try. Really liked it. I was actually already planning on this month making videos on Runeterra, on Hearthstone, on Magic the Gathering, because I've never touched any of those games. But Storybook Brawl, free to play, super easy to get into. I'm already like in the top 300 in the world because it's a newer game. It's got an esports scene. There's potential for me to cast as well. So it just makes sense now for me to just go for it, make a second channel, start putting content out, trying to grow my channel to a wider audience outside the Gwent community. And also, I think importantly for me, meet more people, you know, like one of the best things about me streaming in the last year was the amount of friends that I've made throughout streaming in the Gwent community. But again, there's a finite amount of people within the community. I'm not really making new connections every day. You know, all the streamers I'm already familiar with at this point. So yeah, I think it's just time for me to start pursuing other things, but that does not by any means mean that I'm ditching or abandoning Gwen. I think, just showing you that I'm continuing this as a Gwent channel and I'm going to start from 0 subscribers on a different channel shows you my commitment to Gwent moving forward. So there's that. So of course, why am I not enjoying the game? There's a lot of reasons, right? I think the most obvious one is the current balance and state of the game we all know has been far from ideal, but that's definitely not the main issue. I think that this just exacerbates the rest of the problems that were already there, the underlying problems. I think a big one for me is having played a new game. As I say, last year I was waking up every day keen to play because I wanted to get better at the game. Every game I felt like I could improve, and I reached a point in my gameplay where that just wasn't so much the case. You know, again, 4 top 64 qualifiers in a row, and then I just haven't been in any since, right? I just lost that motivation to improve because, you know, you can put so many hours into the game and still not make a Gwent Open. I never really planned on trying to make a Gwent Open because I wanted to cast the Gwent Opens, right? I just wanted to get into the qualifiers to put out some fun content and stream the qualifiers when they were there and my performances in them. And that's some of my favorite moments I've had as a streamer. Being involved in those qualifiers was a ton of fun. I'd love to be in them again in the future, but I just got burnt out, right? And I just couldn't commit to it. So that's one thing. My desire to improve as a competitor sort of dwindled because I sort of reached the point where my game knowledge was great for casting, and, you know, I can put in so many hours and wouldn't really see that much more improvement. A big second one as well is because I was playing the game so much, when I was actually in games, my decision making and my attention to detail was severely lacking because I just sort of lost interest. I wasn't super motivated to make the best plays, right? You might have seen in some of my videos me making quite a lot of mistakes. That's probably not just that's the only reason, that's just me, right? I do make mistakes, but a big contributing factor to that is because I'm not hyper focused and I'm not super motivated to do my best, which for me, that's just not like me, right? I'm a competitive guy at my nature. I like to improve. I like to get better. I like to learn from my mistakes. But definitely that was another part of it, right? So the other one is like my growth, as I've mentioned, sort of just feeling like my growth was just inevitably, flat balling. And while that could be other reasons, I was still growing and my channel was still doing really well and it was improving each month. If you just look at like June and August, right, my videos were performing better than ever. But then since August, September, I've just not been as motivated to put the content out because I'm not enjoying the game, but also I just don't have that drive anymore. Like I feel like I've kind of reached or very much approached the ceiling. The amount of work I can now put in to grow, I can put so much work in to grow, but the growth is just not going to be what I had last year and earlier on in the year when I started doing this full time, right? So that's the other one. The final one is, I think it's the final one. Some sort of script would have been a great idea, right? But off the cuff is always the best in my opinion for these kinds of things. The final one is casting. Casting was probably the biggest goal I set myself at the start of the year. A lot of you will know that they were sort of shaking up the casting team. When I look back 4 years ago when I bought my PS4 camera to start streaming Gwen, that was an objective that I had. I wanted to be a caster. I thought I'd just not have great game knowledge, but be able to bring some hype, be able to bring some good fun to the cast. But I started to get better as a player, and a big part of that was because I wanted to improve my skill set as a caster and improve my chances to cast Gwent tournaments. And I didn't want to just cast a couple, I wanted to cast every single one. And that is of course still my motivation. I love casting Gwen, even though right now I've been on a break from Gwen while I've been playing a little bit. Today just casting Gwen, I had such a fantastic time. I just loved it. I always watch the tournaments anyway, certainly like the big opens and stuff. I do miss the occasional qualifier, but just casting today was just brilliant. I just love doing it, and I feel like I've improved a lot at that. I can still definitely improve. But also, I have to sit back and reflect on my year. Remember, I've put my teaching career on hold essentially for this, and I'm really want to go for it. I don't want to just settle for second best. I really want to be the best, right? Or at least do the best I can. And I look back at the year, and so far there's been 5 Gwent tournaments, I think, maybe 4. There's been 4 Gwent tournaments, and I've so far casted 1 of them. So while that was a brilliant achievement for me, I'm super proud. I love doing it. I'm super grateful for the opportunity to do so. Do not get it twisted in the slightest. I've also therefore had 3 tournaments, or 4, however many it is, where I haven't been asked to do it. And okay, look, there's some rotation going on, but obviously, there's Tia, Lionheart, Shimmery Flake. Those guys have all casted more tournaments than I have, and I'm very good friends with all the people mentioned there. I've got a lot of respect for them. Of course, it's a bit of an awkward competition because we're friends, but it's just natural, right? It is what it is. But ultimately, obviously, Jag has stepped down now. That's put me in a little bit of an awkward spot with my future moving forward. So like Open 4, didn't really have a definite casting partner, so that's sort of all up in the air if I've got an opportunity to do that. Basically, I'm just at a point, right, where I need to continue to push towards other directions. I cannot just sit and wait and hope that I'm going to get more casting opportunities. I can do my best to do it. For instance, just cast as many qualifiers, as many community tournaments as they get offered. One thing I should definitely do moving forward is doing some more community tournaments and casting those, because I think it's just something that I would really enjoy doing as well, and just try and show off to what I believe is that I'm a great Gwent caster. I think I can do both sides of things. I think I can do the colour casting, as I mentioned, but I also think that my gameplay and my deck building is at a really high level now where I can give good analysis. So Masters at the end of the year, I'm really hoping I can get to Masters. I very much want, therefore, to do more Gwent tournaments next year. It's just something that I really enjoy doing, and I would love to cast more Gwent moving forward, but also expand into other games and improve as a caster, because it's something that I just really like doing. I love esports. I used to watch Call of Duty esports a lot before I found Gwent, so it's just something I've always enjoyed doing and just have really enjoyed improving. But my point is, ultimately I've done 1 tournament this year, which was great, But I want more, you know, I want more. And while I could sit and hope and wait in Gwent, I can commit to it. I can try and upload videos every day. I can try and stream every day. I've realized that is not necessarily going to get me the success in casting, right? That was a big motivation to grow, right? My stream, to get more casting opportunities. And then I did it. And then I've, you know, not always been as, you know, of course I'm not happy to not cast. It's as simple as that, right? There's no doubt about it. You guys know I'm passionate about the game. And there is also, like, because I'm treating it as a business, that opens more opportunities for me moving forwards, right? So that's been a thing that's definitely been hard to deal with at times. I also haven't really spoken about it much. I've just wanted to keep my head down, crack on, just try and improve, you know, be professional, reflect, get better. I've got nothing but respect for all the other casters and stuff like that, but it hasn't always been the easiest thing to you know, to not be asked to do these events. But fingers crossed, I can do more moving forward. That would be great, because I do obviously have a great interest in Gwent esports. And if not, this was the thing. If not, I was like, wow, if I don't do it, I'll just get to Masters as a player. But obviously, mate, I'm just not good enough. I just don't have the attention span as a streamer. The only person that really consistently finishes in the top 64 as a Gwent streamer is Spyro, right? Spyro, Shin Miri could do it if he wanted to, but obviously he's casting every single event, so he has no reason to qualify for the tournaments. Whereas I sort of earlier on in the year knew I wasn't doing the first tournament. I sort of had a feeling I might be doing the second, and that sort of thing. So that was another reason that sort of, you know, killed my motivation to try and, what's the point of trying to qualify for a tournament if I'm already commentating? It doesn't really make any sense, you know. So that was a bit conflicting as well. But definitely want to cast moving forwards. I, again, really appreciate the opportunity. I loved doing it. It was great. And any community tournaments that I get asked to do, I always accept. And just try and get better, work with loads of different people. It'll be great to work with a variety of people, pro players as well as people like Tia Lionheart Flake, obviously Shin Miri as well, Christo, obviously I was casting with Jag. Anyone in the community, Trynet, Sealy, that have casted, I've done loads of casting with Trynet, for example, and loved it, right? Just the more people I work with, the better, and also then start to expand into other games, because that's how I'm going to improve as a caster as well, right? And that's going to open more doors for me moving forwards as well. So the casting was quite a big one this year. That was a big goal. I achieved it. I feel like I did most of the things that I could. In my mind, the best way to cast more tournaments was to upload on YouTube, stream on Twitch. But obviously there's other things I probably could do, like casting community, like my own community tournaments. And that's something I plan to do next year, to really try and push forwards for a full-time casting position. And much love to all the other people that cast, for sure. They appreciate it. It's competition. Competition's healthy, you get me? You know, it is what it is, right? Okay, last but not least, final one, just worth mentioning as I was thinking when about the casting thing. Masters 1 happened, which again I wasn't able to cast, which was a real bummer. Fortunately, before I even knew about Masters 1 happening, the first time I heard about it was I had a little message from my friend Freddie Babes. Freddie just sent me a message. It was like, yo, Speci, bit of news. First of all, you can't tell anyone this, but secondly, I want you to be part of my prep team for Masters 1. I was like, are you serious? And then he told me Life Coach was coming back, and I thought he was definitely having me off. But all of that, of course, proved to be true. I helped Freddie prep for the first Masters, had like a month of solid prep, and again, that was a month where I was streaming Gwent every day. I was posting Gwent videos every day, and then after all that, I was hopping in a call a lot of evenings with Freddie, with Green Note, with Payable, and helping Freddie try and get the best decks for Masters. And that was just a real privilege to be involved with. Bit of a dream come true. I don't think I'm good enough to play in these events. Don't think I'm that far off, honestly, if I put everything into it, but it's just, again, it's just not a valuable use of my time. I'm better off pursuing other areas, right? Being a competitor is something I love doing, but ultimately I wanted to compete in the top 64 qualifiers so I could stream them and make some cool content, play fun decks, you know? That was my goal for getting into top 64 qualifiers. It wasn't really being, you know, at an open and winning prize money or anything like that, you know, to be honest, it just wasn't. So, but being involved behind the scenes, helping Freddie out, mate, so fun. Obviously, he got second place. It would have been great if he won the whole thing, but mate, still, what a guy. And that was great as well to just get to know Freddie a little bit better. Obviously, I knew him from Among Us days as well. And this is what I'm saying, yeah, like the community is the best thing for me about the last year and a half. I've met so many great people, but I want to keep expanding and meeting more people. You know, I don't leave my room very often, guys. A lot of you from my stream will know my uni experience wasn't always the greatest, and before that wasn't either, you know. So this really has been for me like the last year and a half. Just met some of my favorite people in the world. It's been great. but this is what I'm saying. I need to keep moving forward and just keep pushing myself to improve. So yeah, that was the other thing that sort of, you know, I don't think I can top that, you know. I'm not ever going to play at an event myself, and it was the biggest prize pool for any Gwent tournament ever. So, you know, that was sick. Achieved that. I've done the casting. I achieved my goals as a competitor to grow my Twitch stream, which I still want to improve on. Of course I do. On my YouTube, of course I do. But at some point in this last couple months, when the game hasn't been that enjoyable, I've just lacked that drive, that motivation. And that's something I really need. I need to be getting out of bed this in the morning, hyped to turn on my stream, excited and ready to go. Because honestly, some of my streams, like, I was just getting sweary and I was getting leery. I was getting annoyed and frustrated. And a lot of the time it was just because I wasn't happy, you know. So there's all sorts of things going on. It's obviously been a bit of a mad couple of years with being kind of, you know, trapped in my room at times. And it's important to remember I've gone from being in a classroom every day surrounded by a bunch of kids that, you know, look up to me, to being on a Twitch stream in front of a screen. Like, it's a very, very big change. And I've not always, you know, coped with it as well as I can. You know, I've not really looked after myself at all times. But hopefully moving forward, new schedule, second channel to start motivating me more to be pushing out more content, and also just improve the hype and the energy and the quality of my streams, and therefore the quality of my Gwent videos as well. I want to improve as a caster. I don't really want to improve as a player that much anymore, to be honest. I've kind of done it. Definitely next season I'm going to look to get into some more top 64 qualifiers though, just because I love playing in those. But it takes so much time to get into them, so much time and effort, and when you're playing on stream it can get pretty frustrating, and that's sort of, I think, where the burnout, a lot of it, you know, came down to. So recap, what's up? New schedule, second channel, probably soon to be a third channel down the line, but not just yet. There's still going to be Gwent content coming out regularly on this channel, particularly, you know, when I'm enjoying the game more. At the moment, it's a perfect sort of time for me to take a bit of a break, take a step back, refresh myself, be ready to go for when the new expansion drops as well. So I think, honestly, that's everything I've covered. Again, big love to the Gwent community. Thank you guys so much for watching all my videos. I do hope that you enjoy them. I hope I can make them better. I hope that I can, you know, expand into other content and be successful doing that, and work hard and just be happy, man. That's the ultimate thing, right? I want to be happy, which unfortunately the money side of things does come into it, but also not just having, this was the big thing I've still not mentioned, my happiness tied to the state of the game. Because that's kind of what I realized when I went on holiday. I wasn't enjoying the game and I was not happy. If the game was good, I would have been a lot more happy. And that is honestly a really, really messed up way to live your life. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not healthy. If the game is good, great. If the game is bad, that sucks, but it shouldn't actually have like a huge impact on my day-to-day life. But it really did, you know, like it really did. So it is what it is, man. Obviously, my kind of content is trying to build off-meta competitive decks. I don't like losing, guys. I don't. So if I try and play a fun deck and it sucks, I want to play a new deck. And if I find out that all the fun decks I'm trying to build suck, either I've suddenly got terrible at deck building overnight, or there's something just not quite right in the game. So hopefully moving forwards, you know, we've always given lots of feedback that about the expansion cycle. Hopefully it's been obviously a different approach from CDPR. I was really excited for the expansion cycle. I don't obviously think it's gone down as well as we all hoped. But having said that, even at the time of recording this video, mate, in a couple of weeks there's new cards, so let's flip and go. That's exciting. Let's hope that all is fine and dandy. And big shout out to CDPR, because I do know that they're listening, and it'll be really interesting to see how they handle the development cycle moving forwards with the expansions. Again, not quitting Gwent, guys. I have been taking a bit of a break. I've still got YouTube content coming out. I'm still streaming Gwent every so often, 8 AM on my stream for the foreseeable future. Right now, I'm not going to be starting with Gwen every day. I will be playing Gwent sometimes. When the expansion drops, you can be damn sure I will be seshing Gwent. And then if anything changes, I will have an updated streaming schedule where maybe I might play Gwent a few days a week and then pursue other things. But most likely, Gwent will be first and I'll play other stuff second. So that's the big update. I'm going to be starting to expand into other content, whether it be Storybook Brawl, FIFA, New World. I want to do a football channel. I've got a podcast coming, guys, as well. A podcast is on the way. I can't believe I've only just mentioned this. A little bit late in the video, but there's things going on. The ball is rolling. I'm motivated. I'm excited. I'm hopefully moving soon, getting my own place. But again, that's going to be a tax on my wallet, and I don't want to be having anxiety over making ends meet and forcing myself to play Gwen if I don't want to play Gwen. You get me? So that's what this is all about. This is about me expanding, diversifying to ensure that my happiness comes above all. That's what it's all about, you know. That's why I'm doing this, because I love doing this for sure, but I've got to put my happiness first, and that means working harder, feeling motivated. You get me. All right, guys, I've been, rambling, no script in that. I think I covered everything. I'm sure there's a few things I didn't. Much love to the Gwent community. Love you guys. You can't get rid of me that easily. Gwent videos continuing to be uploaded on the channel. But look, if I upload something on this channel that isn't Gwent, give it a try. The videos that therefore go on this channel that aren't Gwen, I would have worked really bloody hard on, because otherwise they'd go on the other channel. You get me? So if I play, for example, New World when that's out, I might try dabble in a little bit of content for that. Might experiment with putting a video up on the main channel and then more on the second channel. I'm not going to be like spamming New World content on this channel. That's the whole idea of a second channel. If I want to commit to a game, put loads of content out, I can still keep my Gwent content coming on this channel for you lot while, not, you get me. You know what it is. So yeah, guys, that's it. Much love. Big yourselves up if you still watch this far. Let me know. Put yeah done no in the chat. Put yeah done no in the chat. Much love, guys. I appreciate you, and I'll see you very soon. Hope to see you on the streams as well. 8 a.m. start. If you haven't given Storybook Brawl a chance, guys, mate, come watch me play. Come watch me play. Say you've come from the video. Say you want to know a little bit more about it. I'll try and teach you the basics. But Gwent is always king. Never forget it, guys. Much love. Deuces.